Hello there, one and all, and thank you very much for tuning in to episode 570 of Love at First Scent with me, with me, Persolaise, live on YouTube. Whether you're watching the live or you're watching the recording, you are very, very welcome. Valmont, who sometimes goes by the name Alex, is here with a comment saying, hello again, watching your live streams is a real Sunday treat. That's very, very kind. And actually reading all your comments and having this kind of interaction is a real Sunday treat for me as well, in what is becoming an increasingly fraught time. I was actually looking at the number of videos that I did over the last 2 months, and I haven't done nearly as many as I managed to do in February and March, I think. And I know why, because of stuff going on, but I thought, oh gosh, no wonder I feel like I haven't been doing very many videos or as many videos, because I literally haven't. Anyway, this is the second of 4 planned videos for today. So we're going to try and redress that. And then, of course, July starts on Tuesday, and that's when we kind of start counting down to the big summer break. So I will try and get as many videos done as possible between now and the summer break. Shahika is here as well, saying hello again. Hello to you. So is Mitrakai. Here we go again, says Dushan. Watching from a very windy Sweden, says Eric. Oh, okay. Well, not particularly. We could do with a bit of a breeze here. Ilya says, back for this one too. Hi again, everyone. The rest later tonight. That's fine. The recording will always be here for you. Right. Watching with 2 sleepy cats, says Blue Reddins. And Sending Love says Perfumed Memoirs. You are very, very welcome. I think I just feel like I should say that the review of this one should be a kind of too long, didn't read type version, and say, this is great. Do try getting a sample and kind of grit your teeth at how expensive it is, but really, consider, if you like Nicolai and you like her particular version of patchouli, consider saving up. Anyway, Gavin says, never knew Harrods stocked Nicolai. Is it new there and this part of the deal for them to stock it? I think it's newish, but apparently they were launched there. I have it on reliable authority many years ago, and then I guess something happened and they went away. But no, they are in there now. They're on the Harrods website, and this is a Harrods exclusive. Whether this was part of the deal, I don't know. I mean, that does seem very likely. Harrods are good with their exclusives. There are plenty of brands that they stock that don't have Harrods exclusives, but maybe for this one they thought it would be great if. I mean, this is pure conjecture on my part. What isn't conjecture is that Patricia De Nicolai is doing one of the Meet the Perfumers events in Harrods towards the end of July, and I am just so disappointed and furious that I will not be able to make it. But if you're going to be in London, there I forget exactly when it is, but I think it might be the final week of July. I'm sure that will be interesting. If you search Harrods perfumer events, Harrods make their events very difficult to find on their website. You sort of have to Google what you're looking for to get into the page. I'm doing a Chanel one on the 10th of July. There are 4 tickets left for the first of the 2 slots that I'm doing. The second slot has completely sold out. It's going to be a good one as well. The current list of events is very impressive, says Gavin. It is, actually. It is. They've done really well, and every year after year, that seems to be becoming a genuinely exciting part of the sort of UK centre geek calendar. I mean, they've got Dominique Oppion this year. They've got François Hénin being interviewed by Susie Nightingale, François Hénin of Jevoy and Jeroboam. They've got the chap from Crivelli, whose name is Crivelli. Lots and lots of very interesting people. Google Harrods Meet the Perfumers, says Gavin. Thank you very much. So this is from Patricia De Nicolai, the Harrods exclusive, and it's called Patchouli Spirit. The Nicolai brand is one for which I have got tons of time. Patricia De Nicolai is it almost feels insulting to say that she is a talented perfumer. She is one of the most talented perfumers around ever, and she's also so devoted to the art and craft of perfumery. She has played a very, very important role at the Osmotek. She's very seriously devoted and committed to shaping and nurturing the careers of future perfumers, and she also has Guerlain blood running in her veins. I forget what the exact connection is, but it's a connection with Jean-Paul Guerlain, I believe. Is is she a kind of niece or somebody will tell me, but there is a very, very direct and close connection with the Garlin family. The trouble with Nicolai is that it's difficult to get hold of samples of their works in the UK. I think she's a niece of Jean-Paul, says Gavin. Yeah, I thought she was a niece as well. It's difficult to get hold of samples. It's difficult to get to their tiny, tiny, tiny little shop, which admittedly is not actually very far from South Kensington Tube Station, but for some reason it just doesn't seem to be on my regular network. So I need to check them out at Harrods. And also, they seem to have got rid of a lot of the big hits, you know, the kind of Nicolai standards that people know and love. They do a lot of limited editions, they do a lot of brief summer scents, and so then it kind of becomes difficult to keep tabs on them. I hope this one sticks around. Let's have a spray. I have a pre-sprayed blotter. I have the briefest of blurbs to share with you. Have you tried Iris Medici, the iris from Nicolai? Yes, I had a brief smell of it and I was very, very impressed. But that one, I mean, is it still on the website? Because I think last time I looked, it wasn't on the website. And this is what seems to happen. But I seem to remember the iris. I mean, Patricia De Nicolai rarely makes a poor perfume. And what's also wonderful and really, really gratifying and actually almost touching in a way is that so many of her perfumes, maybe not recently, but still a lot of her perfumes follow that classical structure of having a very, very defined opening, a defined middle, and a defined end, and you're taken on a journey with them. New York is beautiful. If you've never smelt New York, which is I think there's one of the sort of best-selling ones aimed at men, it is just stunning. It is so gorgeous. Iris Medici is still around, says Stefano. Thank you very much. I love my Cuir Cuba, says Jossie. She's very, very good at doing light citrusy compositions. Anyway, this is Patchouli Spirit. And what I love as well is that she doesn't mind creating compositions that are quite abstract. She doesn't seem to necessarily go for this, okay, you know, if I've used the word vetiver in the name of the perfume, then the vetiver note has to be so massive that, you know, it feels like it's like bludgeoning you to vetiver death. She doesn't always reference ingredient names in her perfumes, although she does seem to be doing that more and more. I mean, the iris is a case in point. New York Intense, says Johnny, is one of the few lavender scents I love wearing. Well, lavender comes up in this as well, in a very sly way. I mean, it's a beautifully abstract blend because it's not excessively patchouli-like, but it's almost like... Patchouli Spirit is a great word because it's almost like she's decided to sort of convey the essence of patchouli, the spirit of patchouli, the soul of patchouli, and make it breathe, really bring it to life. But the patchouli is by no means wishy-washy. I think if you're going to do a Harrods exclusive, you do need to play the Harrods game. You need to play the Harrods card well. I think that's where maybe Acro stumbled a little bit with their Harrods exclusives, because, like, for instance, when Olivier Cresp made East, which was, I think, the first Harrods exclusive from Acro, he said, oh, I didn't want to do a typical oud, I wanted to do a very different sort of oud. And I kind of thought, ooh, but if you're doing it as a Harrods exclusive, you kind of need to do a typical oud and do it really, really well. And I gather that their Harrods exclusives didn't do brilliantly. And I think, actually, please correct me if I'm wrong, I think Acro are no longer stocked at Harrods, which is a bit of a shame because it remains a superb brand. But this definitely plays that Harrods card. It's got more than just a shade of the ouds that Patricia De Nicolai has done. I love her ouds, and if they weren't so insanely expensive, I mean, her ouds are ridiculously expensive, but they are so good. And there's one, I forget which one it was, but there's one which has a kind of incense note to it. I don't think it's called incense oud, but anyway, we're not talking about those, but her ouds are brilliant. And this has got a touch of that cypriol leathery darkness that is in her ouds. It is gorgeously diffusive, you know, stupendously diffusive, very, very, very long lasting. I wore it a few days ago and people were remarking on it in the best possible way. And I immediately thought, right, this has got to go into kind of, permanent rotation at the moment. Kazizi, hello, says Nicolai's Chateau one is a bit of a sleeper in my opinion. Vie de Chateau, if I recall. I don't remember that one. Anyone tried it in the vein of understated French perfumery? Riviera Verbena is heaven, says Mum to Bunky. Yeah, that was a very, very good one. She also did Weekend à Deauville, which was beautiful. She's very, very good at doing sort of light. Amber Oud, says Lacking. Maybe it was Amber Oud. I mean, there were 2 ouds that she did, weren't there? They were both so good. I feel like I ought to find out how much they are, because they were not cheap. So what has she got? Oh, is it not going to come up now? Oud Sublime. Maybe it was Oud Sublime, the one that I thought was really good. And there is an incense oud. There is an incense oud, so perhaps it was that one. Anyway, brief blurb about Patchouli Spirit. Where are we? They say, created exclusively for Harrods by renowned perfumer Nicolai, the Patchouli Spirit fragrance is a fresh take on the patchouli note, floral tones of lavender, pelargonium and rose, intertwined with citrusy orange and spicy cinnamon, while the patchouli itself provides the base with hints of vanilla, sandalwood and incense. And I love a prosaic description like that, because actually you can read that and go, yeah, tick, 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 all present. Well, except for, I'm not quite sure what pelargonium smells like, but I'll go along with it. Lavender, yes. Rose, yes. Patchouli, yes. Vanilla, yes. Sandalwood, yes. And incense, definitely yes, yes. And the extended notes list also mentions orange. And you do get that kind of lovely citrusy, lavendery, patchouli combo thing going on there, as well as ambroxan. It's kind of got the best of big 80s masculines, while not being mired in those sort of more awful 80s codes. It's good stuff. And how much is it? How much is it, you might be asking? It's £210 for 100 mils. So, not cheap, but, there are lots and lots of perfumes out there that are more expensive than that, and I would be saying you need to be thinking about saving up your pennies for this one. Pre-sprayed Patchouli Spirit. You lost me at ambroxan, says Johnny. You don't really get it. And don't forget, ambroxan isn't the same as those really, really rough, harsh woody ambers. Ambroxan on its own is actually quite gentle and delicate. Do you know if they'll sell it in 30 mils? Sorry, no idea. Pre-sprayed. Not a hint of woody, ambery awfulness, I promise you. It's actually really, really smooth and suave, and if anything, kind of very, very gently reminiscent of the sort of slightly powdery animalic feel of ambergris. The patchouli doesn't become too camphoraceous. The sandalwood note is convincing. She does stuff well, I mean, like I said, it's almost ridiculous saying it in relation to somebody of her stature and her experience, but she knows what she's doing, and when she puts her mind to something, she does it well. I'm impressed, and I will be wearing it. As I say, if you can make it to the event, please go, so that you can tell me about it. Right, I think we're done with that one. No point carrying on when there's no reason to carry on. We will be back in a few minutes with a showcase, as I said earlier, of a brand that was unknown to me until very, very recently. For now, thank you very much for watching. See you in a bit. Bye now.